Our Apple Tune, fall in. It's the Joe and the Jarhead Show. As ever, I am Joe, representing the United States Army. And to my left, you are right, representing a service so unbelievably weird that they have to actually have their name written on their shirts for them to remember who they are, is Jarhead.
Jarhead.
Representing...
Happy birthday to me.
Okay, I was going to say that. That was going to literally be my next sentence, but that's okay.
Yes, it does say Marines on my shirt.
Okay.
Because I'm proud of my service. I don't run and hide from my service.
Okay.
Although I shouldn't say that. If you've ever seen Joe outside of these shows, he is a walking commercial for the United States Army.
Darn right.
His hat, his backpack, his freaking belt, people. I'm not kidding. It's a little embarrassing to be seen with you in public sometimes.
That's okay. It's always a little embarrassing to be seen with you in public.
Uh-huh.
But happy birthday today to the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for 244 years of spotless honor and globe-spanning debauchery.
So the Marine
And
Corps...
for providing a continued use for the United States Navy.
Way to go, Uber drivers. Navy. So it's kind of cool. The Marines are almost as old as you now. That's kind of cool.
And you always will be.
We'll never be as mature, that's for sure.
Oh, God, no. Dude, you were founded in a bar.
Could you imagine
November
that
10th,
conversation?
1775, the United States Marine Corps was founded in Tun Tavern
Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia.
That's a real thing. Just a couple guys in the bar. Be like, dude, we should start our own service.
You know
where
what we
just
need?
drink
We need a second
and go
land
shoot.
army.
I want to shoot things and drink more. Dude.
We could build a whole military service around that.
Second land army. Get out of here with that. The Marines are everywhere. How copy? Land, sea,
So's the Army.
air.
Yep.
Yeah, you try.
We're actually pretty darn successful at it. Actually, we're so successful at air that we took the majority of it and outsourced it to a completely different branch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who are they called?
I don't know. They wear blue. They look stupid. Air Force. That's who it is.
That's who it
Yeah.
is. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. We do bring you the news, and we waded through a lot of stupid to bring you the news
Man,
today.
was there some stupid.
We're going to talk about some real nastiness going on down south of the border.
Yup.
Joe will get into that. I'm going to talk about big government and how it is shaky and scary and what you can do about it.
All right.
We're also going to talk about some nonsense between ABC and CBS. We might have to throw in something about the impeachment because that's all the mainstream.
Impeachment.
Yes.
Impeachment. I'm just going to do that randomly throughout,
Right,
the,
'cause
throughout the
that's-
episode.
I don't know what else to
Impeachment.
talk about.
Impeachment.
But let's get to some history before we get into all
I
that.
like it. So, actually, it's weird. It's the anniversary of a no longer holiday.
So Veterans Day. is what you're
Yes.
getting at.
1919. November 11th. Was founded by Woodrow Wilson, whose name I hate to say. But it was actually initially called Armistice Day
Uh-huh.
because it was commemorating 1 year after the end of World War I, which was, to that point, the most unimaginably horrible conflict in human history. The world had never seen anything like it. And it was, until World War II came out, it was considered to be known as the war to end all wars. It was supposed to be the last one. It was supposed to be the one that was so horrible, man would never even conceive of going to war again.
Give it a decade or two.
Well, that lasted a couple decades, yeah. Yeah, I bet you Poland was really shocked by that.
again with Germany and
Right.
Poland.
You know? And so 1 year to the day, November 11th, 1919, after World War I, President Wilson declared it to be Armistice Day, which is supposed to be a solemn day of remembrance for those who fell in the First World War. Fast forward a few years to the end of World War II, and veterans are like, what are we going to do for this one? Like, good heck. You know, we already have this solemn, somber day. Well, they put forth a petition, which was eventually signed into law in 1954 by President Eisenhower, saying, you know what, we're going to have, there will be a Memorial Day, but Veterans Day is not meant to commemorate the fallen. It is meant to celebrate everyone who served, living, dead, old, young, just signed up last week or retired 30 years ago. This is a day, this is your day. This is no longer solemn, this is a celebration. I think that's the way to go because
That's super
soldiers
cool.
love to party way more than we love to be depressed.
Yes, they do. Almost as hard as the Marines like to party.
I'm saying, y'all consume breathtaking quantities of alcohol. Good
Remember
heck.
that whole tidbit about Marines being found in a bar?
Yep.
So
And they've been there ever since.
Memorial Day was a holiday before Veterans Day.
I think so. I can't remember. I'll look this up. It'll be in the
But
comments.
that's the difference between the holidays.
Yes,
Memorial's for
Memorial
the-
Day is a day of remembrance specifically for the fallen. And no, we are not those vet flakes who get offended when someone says Happy Memorial Day.
That's a thing.
You want to wish me a Happy Memorial Day? Do it.
That's cool.
Because I do have a lot of happy memories of some dead buddies. So what do you got?
So we're moving on to headline highlights.
Oh, fine, if we gotta.
Okay, impeachment.
That's my line.
Okay, sorry.
Impeachment.
Well, okay. What would you like to say about impeachment? It's still going on, still a thing. Mm-hmm. What progress has there
Impeachment.
been? Oh my goodness, it is. Oh yeah. So, do you think it's going to happen?
Impeachment.
Will the House vote
Impeachment.
for impeachment?
Impeachment.
Yes, it will happen. The Democrats own the House of Congress. They own it. They had the numbers. Congressional House.
House of Representatives.
House of Idiots. Okay, yes.
Yeah, them.
So they have the numbers. So and all
The
it
side
needs-
of the side of Congress that is not the Senate. Them.
two different houses.
You see what I
Okay.
have to work with?
So all he needs is a simple majority vote, right?
Yep.
So why
That's
would
it.
they not? They've been dying to do this ever since he was put in office.
Correct.
So it's probably going to happen. And then after that, it goes to the Senate, where we hope that Mitch McConnell, who is a Senate Majority Leader, will take this opportunity to run a big fat investigation and call everybody in that needs to come to the carpet. Mm-hmm. We
Yep.
need a lot of accountability, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Probably not.
I don't know what's going on with the impeachment. There's a lot
Impeachment.
more whistleblowers,
Impeachment.
people that are subpoenaed. Subpoenaed? Come on, that's got to be the best word ever on this show. Subpoenaing.
Dude, it's been a year. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around psalms.
Oh, yes. Actually, I'm going to bring up Proverbs later, but I can't remember.
Wouldn't it be proverbs?
Subpoena.
Or actually, if we're gonna pronounce silent s's, then wouldn't it just be proverbs? If we're gonna silent out the pronounced p.
If you're offering me a challenge, I will take that challenge.
I would never dream of doing so.
Anyways, let's move on. The impeachment, nothing burger.
Impeachment.
Yes. Okay, I want to talk about big government because the blue wave is coming down and it is real. So there was some elections lately last week. The blue wave took over Virginia, so they took over the House and the Senate in Virginia.
Yep.
They already had a Democratic governor there.
Governor.
And in Kentucky, the governorship switched from red to blue.
Well, it switched from red and bat crap crazy. Looking at you, Matt Bevin.
Who was the governor of Kentucky.
Yeah.
He made some bad choices.
Yeah, he
But
did.
that's kind of a big blow to Republicans, especially Mitch McConnell,
Yep.
because that is his state, right?
Yep.
So what I want to talk about is that this blue wave, it kind of scares me. And before we get into this, I think it's important to preface that I'm no lover of the Republican Party. They have their own issues,
Correct.
but I am slowly getting on board with this Trump thing. I think he's making big improvements and doing great things, but he's still a man-child.
Correct.
But the Democrats scare me, Joe. They really do. And this blue wave that is coming down.
I honestly, brother, I do not see a whole lot of Democrats left in politics. The
Correct.
Democratic Party is not really a thing anymore that I can see. It has become Democratic Socialists Party. More and more of the seats, more and more of the old guard that were huge spender, big government people are being, retired or phased out or voted out in favor of hard left radical socialists.
And I think that is what scares me, is because it is these hard leftists that are getting voted into office. And when I think of Democrats, I always think of the big three. They want the big government, they want more rights for LGBTQ, and they are mad supporters of abortion. And
Yep.
it's getting worse because now they're
I'm going to throw guns in there. Guns are my issue.
top four. But with abortions, it's getting worse and worse. Before it was just abortion, before the baby comes out. But now, if the baby comes out and it's still breathing, but his foot is still in the mama, then you still have your right to kill that baby right there. So
Yeah, this is gonna be a bad episode if we go down this road, Roa.
I want to say that this is real. This evil exists in our world, and it's not just the politicians, right? They have millions of people coming out to support this. This is where we're at. So I wish I could call it arms. I wish everybody who's listening to this show right now would realize that you can make a change. You can make a difference. I don't think that you should run and hide and be scared. This is a fight worth fighting. Yes, it is scary. I am scared of it. And what can we do about it? I want to read Proverbs. Did I say that right?
Proverbs, yes.
Thank you. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Now this might come as a cop-out, like an easy answer, but that's the way the gospel is meant to be. It was meant to be so easy that every single one of God's children on earth could accept it and follow it. It's that easy. So is it a cop-out to say, let's pray about this? Let's go out there and let's be brave on social media. Let's be brave and have those conversations and not back down when your friends or your family bring up abortion and say that it's women's rights and it should happen. We need to be brave and have those conversations. We don't need to be keyboard warriors. We don't need to go picking fights, but we should be brave and stand our ground. And we should be able to, again, be brave and speak of God and be like, no, I want to put my trust in God, not in our government.
Correct.
And I think as a nation, as a whole, if we as a people prayed for things like that, I believe we would see a difference.
Absolutely, yes.
So
Absolutely,
even if you don't support your leaders, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, they deserve our prayers.
Correct.
That's where I'm at.
My view on that is, specifically on confronting evil, is no matter what I do in this life, good, bad, or indifferent, I will eventually die, and I will have to stand accountable before God for what I've done in my life. And what I'm scared of isn't the things I've had to do, in service to that flag. It's being called to account for things I could have done to help my fellow man, but didn't. Things I left undone. So if I have the ability to influence other people to not do insane things like murder their own children, and I don't do that, if I don't shout that from the rooftops, I firmly believe I will be held accountable for that inaction.
I agree. And it's something as simple when you do have a friend or a family member put something out there on social media, it's okay to go out there and to share your own views, even bear your testimony. Don't be scared. Stand up for what's right. That's what we need, is more people to wear their religion on their shoulder and be proud of it. I'm not telling you to go out there and pick fights. That's not what I want. We don't need more shouting matches or people tweeting without thinking, #Donald Trump. We do need more love and more prayers.
Correct.
And I believe that will help solve this issue of democratic socialism, this blue wave that is scarily coming down and sweeping our nation.
Correct.
Because at its progress, I don't know how you're going to slow that wave, Joe. It is maddening. It is ferocious. It is taking over, especially our young crowd.
Yeah, that is the scary part. I was just actually mapping this out with a coworker the other day. For too long, I think the tendency was, I need to work hard and get ahead and let my kids see that, which I'm not taking anything away from. I do that.
Yep.
But we put too much faith in educators to raise our children for us. I'm fine with teachers teaching. I'm fine with teachers providing my children with a fact-based education. But when teachers are co-opted by socialists, and if y'all can find me a teachers union that gives money to a Republican candidate, I would love to know about that organization. I have never seen it.
The biggest supporter of the Democratic Party monetarily used to be the teachers union for decades.
Yep.
They recently got trumped by Alphabet, which is the parent company for Google.
Yep. But when you give control of the kids over to socialists, and you just accept that, and you're busy working hard, showing them that work ethic, but not being involved in their lives and questioning what they learn and providing them with fact-based rebuttals to what they're learning, you can't be surprised by what happens.
I agree with that totally, but I think we should take that one step farther, because yes, you have to pay attention to what's going on, what your kids are being taught, not just at school, but any extracurricular activities
Right.
or even at church, okay? But you also, more importantly, I believe, you have to pay attention to what's going on online. And I believe that is the biggest issue. I would say that's the root cause of why so many millennials are calling themselves democratic socialists, is because it has been Google that has been raising them for the past decade and a half.
That's
and
fair.
So when parents
I'd say that's fair.
are not, there's no oversight on what the kids are doing online. Yes, you might have your parental control apps in place. You might do a good job over watching what they're doing with their games and what they're playing and what they're watching on YouTube. But when they go to learn something, it's Google that is giving them their information. It is
Truth.
the search engine that is used by 97% of America. People who get online to search something, 97% of people are going to Google. And we just talked about Google is now the #1 supporter of these extreme leftists. Okay, we're not going to just stick with the Democratic Party, but these extreme leftists. So when we talk about big government and we talk about how scared we are of the big government taking away our guns and supporting these abortion rights, I don't think big government is the right word to use anymore. I would say it's these big leftists, these big companies.
Fair enough. I could go with that.
Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all notoriously hardline leftists, or I should say the top people.
They support
Yes.
those leftists.
The people who own those companies are diehard democratic socialists. And they all admit that, and they're not scared of that. But those are the platforms that are, how would you describe, running the majority of our kids' lives? That's
They
where they're
certainly have the
spending
biggest impact.
a good influence.
They
Yes.
certainly have the biggest impact in their lives. And we need to draw back on that and replace that with us. There is no substitute for parental involvement. If you want to heal a country, there is no substitute for being there, being involved in their lives, and teaching them hands-on what right looks like, what the right answer is.
Yep, I love that. I think that, yeah, replace Facebook with the Bible, get those kids in front of some good material.
I'm okay with that.
And yep, I believe that we
I'm
will
pretty okay with that.
see that blue wave die in its tracks.
And it is not too difficult for them to understand. For crying out loud, a Marine can understand the Bible. This is totally doable.
Well, ish. He still calls it Psalms every once in a while. It's not really on purpose. I'm sorry. I just, I think it's the Marine's fault and why I do that sometimes.
I'm taking your crayon away.
Don't do that! My crayon. Okay. Let's move on.
Have we beat that subject up enough?
Man. Well, it was important to talk
It
about.
is. It is, and I will never say otherwise.
But there's also something we need to talk about, too, down south of the border.
Yep. So, last week, a family was having a reunion, and they all got shot up.
Slaughtered.
3 women, 6 kids, members of the LeBaron family, which is it's a family with ties on both sides of the border. So a lot of the family lives on the U.S. side, a lot of them lives on the Mexican side, and they were going down south for I believe it was a wedding,
Oh, a family event.
a family event, and they all got shot up.
What'd they do to deserve that?
They were driving behind each other. They were in a convoy, essentially.
I don't understand.
Well, they were in a territory which is disputed by 2 different gangs, and from what I've found, it looks like one of the gangs thought they were the other gang on a raid and just shot them up.
Wow.
Yeah. So what bothers me is this was last week, and the most recent article I can find is 4 days ago now. And so this is already out of the news. This is that thing that happened one time.
Because impeachment needs to take over.
Yeah. So this is just south of our border. And this is not an isolated incident. It is horrible. These are American citizens murdered by Mexican drug cartel gangs. Why these gangs are still alive, I'm not certain. We can drone dudes in Pakistan all day long. We can drone ISIS all day long. We can unperson people in Yemen, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, all day long for killing other people in that country. But 9 Americans are dead south of the border, including 2 children who were burned to death alive in an SUV. I'm wondering why we can't just, for crying out loud, I served in Fort Hood, Texas.
Stone's throw away from the border.
The 1st Cavalry Division is right there. You have 1st Infantry Division in Texas. You have 1st Armor in Texas. I'm really wondering why we're not playing guns with these kids.
So now
this is coming on the heels of back in October, 13 cops were killed in the Michoacan state in the same kind of thing, in an ambush by rival drug cartels. A few days later, when El Chapo Guzman's kid,
Shorty's
kid, was taken into police custody, 400 gunmen took over Culiacan, which is the state capital of Sinaloa. So this is like Boise or frickin' Denver or Atlanta being taken over by a drug cartel because the cops are trying to bring this guy to justice.
And they got him out.
Yeah, the cops let him go. What are they going to do? These drug cartels are starting to go to these cops' houses
and
kidnap people, right?
Yep.
But this is a quote from President frickin'
Obrador.
Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should let me say that.
No, I shouldn't. He says, you can't fight violence with more violence.
You want to bet?
Yes, you can.
Give me a shot at that.
Let these guys go in there. I promise you, Marines are exceptional at violence.
It's so
Army's
true.
not bad either. We done some hurting to some bad dudes.
Just give us a shot. Let us give it a try.
He says, intelligence rather than force and punishment rather than corruption.
Punish what?
Yeah, what did you punish?
How are you going to punish them, dude?
What did you punish, sir?
Come on now.
His official policy, I kid you not, is hugs, not bullets.
There's no way he said that.
I wish I was kidding.
He's the president of Mexico.
President of Mexico. Yep.
Okay, I want to talk about a proactive stance because I know that Donald Trump did call President Obrador.
Who said they didn't need help. They're good.
Yeah, so at least President Trump offer help. That's what that was the intent. And I appreciate that. That's great. I want to help people who struggle to help themselves.
Time.
That's the definition of the American dream.
Correct. You can't do it yourself? No worries. We got you.
And we're making the right move by building a wall because we need to do all that we can defensively to prevent these people from coming into Boise and Atlanta and Denver. But like you're saying, it is now the time to take a proactive stance. And I don't know if rolling armored tanks from the 1st Division is the right answer, but boots on the ground, drones dropping bombs is now the answer. 9 Americans slaughtered.
I totally agree. There's no need for tankers' involvement in this whatsoever.
He's infantry, forgive him. He doesn't get along well with tankers.
We don't play well.
You play well with Marines.
We do. When Marine Corps infantry and Army infantry get together, it gets bad for the bad guys. There, a little place, what was it called? Fallujah?
Does that place still exist?
Not really. No, they let the Marines in there. It doesn't exist anymore. And the same could be true for these guys' compounds. We know where these guys live. They're not shy about it. They have no need to hide. They operate out in the open.
And that's my struggle because I get that sometimes people want to sit back under our blanket of freedom and be like, you know what, let them slaughter each other. If they're not going to do anything about it, then they can blow up each other. But that's no longer the case.
No.
Because the majority of people who are buying those drugs are Americans from those gangs.
Mm-hmm.
And those gangs are not just on that side of the border. They're
not they're
on
here
that side of
too.
the wall.
They're
over
too.
here. We have to do something more about this. We've got to put boots on the ground on that side of the wall.
Right.
And we have to fight violence with violence.
Which is weird because we literally just said the opposite.
I'm not saying, yeah.
But that's in terms of corruption within and raising a generation to not be corrupt, which if the people of Mexico were given a chance to do that, I think they would do that. But for right now, the chief industry in a lot of these states is the drug cartel. And when you are a desperately poor, failed state, which Mexico, I will say, is. Mexico, I think it has become a failed state.
Absolutely.
I think when your most lucrative industry is to work for the cartels, and when your economy is so far in the toilet, and when it's easier to work for the cartels than to try to set up something that isn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? There's a time to have a good friend come in and hit the reset button for your house. And that I think is us. I think if they can't take care of their own house, then we need to at least ensure that it doesn't spill over into ours.
I agree. We need to go help those who cannot help themselves. And in Mexico, they have a big problem with that right now. But I want to back up to what you were just saying, because we just read that scripture out of Proverbs. So we do support people trying to turn towards God to help solve their answers. And that will always be the right answer.
Yes.
And so
but that is a generational approach. That is, that it will have effects now, but to really have it sink in, you need to raise a generation to have that philosophy where their instinct is to turn toward Christ. While something that definitely needs to be happened, you have to stop the hemorrhage before you can treat the infection.
I agree, because there's the old adage that says that, preaching the word will always be mightier than the sword, right?
Correct.
And I believe that. But in this type of situation, you're not even going to get missionaries down there across the border even start preaching, right?
Not ones that live anyway.
Exactly. So we need to, like you said, stop the bleeding first.
Yeah, Trump actually he tweeted about declaring war on the drug cartels, which was politely refused by President Obrador. Yeah, President Obrador's in the pocket of the freaking cartels, dude.
They all have been for a decade now.
Sue me for freaking slander. Sue me for libel, Mr. President.
Please do.
Yeah,
we would love
I would
that.
love that kind of publicity. But when your policy is literally hugs, not bullets, you are attempting to negotiate with people who can burn infants alive in car seats and machine gun entire towns. Nah, man.
Yeah, when you come out and you say, "Oh yeah, you gave up
How
El
much of your
Chapo's
campaign
son,"
finance money came from Chapo, sir?
when you come out and you say that the people in the prison who gave up El Chapo's son as a prisoner because they were getting shot up, that was the right thing to do to negotiate terrorists, that was the right move, you're no longer a president. You're a scumbag.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a
part
very
of the problem.
Christian thing to say, but I'm not going to take it back because I mean it.
Yeah.
I despise you.
Yeah. You are the part of the problem.
So the solution there is, for us, again, I don't want it to sound like a cop-out, but we have to pray for those who can't help themselves.
Correct.
And if you find a charity, or if there are missionaries down there, there are people who can help. Do what little bit you think can help. But we also have to support our government, the people, our politicians, people we put in office, to make changes, policies happen that will put Marines and soldiers on the ground in there to stop that bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agreed.
Let's move on. I want to really quick talk about ABC and CBS. These guys are hoot. Yeah, did you guys forget about that already? This is the biggest story. This is so cool. I love this. It was wading through a lot of stupid, trying to find out exactly what happened. So there was a gal, her real name is Amy Robach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is she in favor of impeachment?
She found the Jeffrey Epstein story before he was arrested. She found girls who he had violated in the worst possible ways. She had names. She knew who Prince Andrew was. She knew the Clintons' involvement before he was even arrested. She had this whole story. She had a lot of victims.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and she had people lined up who were willing to talk in front of a camera. Victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, he's the pedophile. I hope you don't have to explain again who he is. But he was the worst kind of a pedophile, the billionaire pedophile with his own island who brought bigwigs there, right? Big people, important people like the Clintons, like Prince Andrew there. And this gal, she worked at ABC, she had this big story. And ABC kept shutting it down, saying, who the heck is this Jeffrey Epstein? Nobody cares, we're not running with it. Well then, once you know it, he gets arrested and it's a big fat story. impeachment comes along, and then we forget about
Impeachment.
it. Yeah. He hangs himself. What? This guy committed suicide in jail? Impeachment. And we forget all about it, right? But
you better back off, or you'll kill yourself too.
Yeah. Clinton cited over here. But so what happened is Amy left and she went to CBS, but so did another gal by the name of Ashley Bianco. She left ABC, went to CBS. ABC called up CBS and said, hey, don't let her run with this. She made us look bad. You need to fire her. And she was fired. So ABC and CBS were in cahoots and fired this gal named Ashley Bianco for running a story that she never ran. This is real. This really happened. This was a big thing. And if you want to know more about it, I suggest you go watch Megyn Kelly's YouTube video on this. I love Megyn Kelly. She is a great journalist. She did some great investigative reporting into this. But that's as far as I want to go into it, because impeachment is obviously more important. But you can no longer trust the mainstream media, and this is why right here. They were so embarrassed.
I would rather trust gas station sushi than American journalism.
Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
There's no way. So this is what happens when we watch mainstream. This is really who they are. I don't think this is a standalone story. This stuff happens all the time in the mainstream media, trying to squash the real stories that are out there that mean something to us, that are important for us to know, in favor of impeachment.
Impeachment.
Nothing burgers.
Speaking of nothing burgers, so how are those kids languishing in cages on the border doing?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it lately.
How about the like all the mass shootings that have been going on?
Are you kidding me? Impeachment.
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 Impeachment. Why aren't they stories anymore?
Impeachment.
Impeachment. This is exactly the problem with ABC, CBS,
NBC,
MS,
Fox
LSD.
News. They're not. They're all,
Yeah.
That sounds like a drug.
Yeah. Well, they're clearly on drugs. Have you seen some of the articles they run?
No. Who is LSD?
MSLSD, MSNBC.
Oh my gosh. I question your sanity sometimes.
I never question yours. I know you're bat crap crazy. I accept that about you, and I still do the show.
Isn't that what it says on my shirt? Back crap crazy?
Yes.
He's owning it.
Go big or go home, brother.
Right?
So, why aren't these things stories anymore? Why? And this was the big thing. You have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez holding onto a fence, covering her mouth, crying, weeping about these kids down at the border.
At an empty parking lot, you mean?
Oh, that's right, because it wasn't real.
No, it was fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fake news is becoming a thing. This impeachment, fake news, is becoming a thing. And we're losing stories.
And you're missing out on so much stuff that's going on in the world.
Well, Joe and Jarhead ain't. We got the goods.
I'm just saying. There was a story I was going to run with tonight about Iran finally owning up that they've held a CIA operative since 2007.
I thought you were going to say that they no longer care about the Iran deal and they're just going all out.
They did just stand up a second nuclear plant.
Man. And they're not even shy about it. They're unapologetic about it.
Correct.
They don't care nothing no more. That's scary, dude.
Impeachment. Please don't let the media sources out there make you myopic. Please don't let them drag you into focusing on just this one stupid nothing burger thing when there are so many bigger things going on in the world. We see it all. I mean, gosh, I probably curate 15, 20 sites looking for articles.
At least, yeah. And it is wading through the stupid. It really is, because we try to read these articles. We're not just perusing through things. And when I'm at work, I always have like Fox News or CNN or MSNBC up on my screen so I can see what's going on. But it's impeachment. So we do have to wade through a lot of stupid, because there are important things out there that we have.
I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to save you some time at work. I'm just going to take a Sharpie and write impeachment on a big yellow sticky and just stick it on your
my
monitor.
other screen.
And you don't have to worry about it.
I might get more things done if you do that, actually.
You might.
We shouldn't go that far.
No.
That's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I hate to get so preachy about this, and I don't care. I'm not ashamed that I'm going to put in a plug for us, but this is what we're about. There are stories out there that our platoon needs to know about, and
Correct.
that's why we're here.
That's what we do.
Hoorah!
We wade through the stupid so you don't have to.
And we mock each other once in a while. I'm sorry. That just bleeds. It's the soldiers and Marines. We get that a lot of civilians don't understand it. Most of the other services do.
It's true.
It's fun.
It's like big brother, little brother kind of rivalry competing for the attention of the Congressional Finance Committee.
The Marines don't even have a budget.
You-
We're the Department of the Navy. We get the leftovers. They like
Yes.
it's like when they're eating a sprinkled donut and the sprinkles fall to the floor. That's what the Marines get.
You guys get sprinkles? You guys get donuts?
That's what it feels like sometimes.
Oh, I thought
What we really get is a roll of duct tape.
that's true.
But we still kill more enemies
I'm saying.
than a lot of you.
Truth.
Okay. Woo, doggy.
That's going to do it, yeah?
Man, that was a good show.
That was a good show. And thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. You're the best audience on the internet. I mean, do you agree?
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
You guys are awesome.
Platoon dismissed.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy
To the
birth-
Marines.
To the Marines. Not you yet.
Coming
Not
up.
yet. Coming up, not yet.
Semper Fi. Oh. Jarhead's not dressed. Forgive my nudity. Nudity fixed.
It's rolling.
Oh,
We've been
okay.
doing this whole time.
Oh, good. Well, all right. Hey, you're only making your editing job harder. I feel like I should be waving a lighter over my head. All we are saying is give war a chance. Yeah?
What just happened?
That was my reverse peacenik move.
We cannot put that in the show.
Oh, we're putting that in the highlight reel.
You're embarrassing. What was that?
That was me going hippie. That's as hippie as Joe gets.
Move on, please. I need to strike that from my memory.
No, you don't.